The mining colony on New Haven had been silent for 3 days. Captain James Miller stood on the bridge of the patrol ship Pioneer, staring at the readings that made no sense. 20,000 humans lived on that rocky planet. Now the scanners showed nothing. No heat signatures, no communication signals, no movement. "Take us closer," Miller ordered his pilot, Lieutenant Tom Harris. The Pioneer descended through the thin atmosphere. Below them, the colony's dome should have been glowing with lights. Instead, they found glass. Everything had been turned to glass. The buildings, the vehicles, even the ground itself had been melted and reformed into a smooth, reflective surface. Miller felt his hands shake. He had seen many things in his 20 years of service, but never this. The entire colony had been erased, transformed into a monument of destruction. "Sir, I'm detecting an energy signature," Harris said, his voice tight. "It's not human technology." On the main screen, a message appeared in perfect English. "This system now belongs to the Vexer Empire. Humanity will withdraw from all territories beyond your home star. You have been warned." Miller's communications officer, Lisa Park, turned pale. "Captain, we need to report this to Earth immediately." The journey back to Earth took 2 weeks. During that time, Miller watched the footage over and over. The glass wasteland, the alien message. 20,000 people, including families and children, gone without a trace. When they arrived at Earth's orbital command station, Miller found himself in a room with the highest military officials of the United Earth government. Admiral Robert Stone, a man who had fought in the Mars Rebellion 30 years ago, listened to the report in silence. 20,000 souls, Stone said finally, his voice like grinding steel. They killed 20,000 innocents to send a message. General Amanda White, head of fleet operations, pulled up a holographic map. The Vexer Empire. "Our deep space monitors have detected them before. They control 17 systems in the outer rim. We thought they would leave us alone." "They made a mistake," Stone said. He stood up, his weathered face hard as stone. "They think we're weak. They think we'll run." He turned to face the room. "They don't know what humans do when you hurt our family." The president of United Earth, David Chun, appeared on the main screen from his office in Geneva. His usually calm face showed controlled fury. "Admiral Stone, I'm authorizing Protocol 7. Everyone in the room straightened. Protocol 7 had never been used. It was the complete mobilization of humanity's military might. Every shipyard, every factory, every able-bodied human who can hold a weapon," the president continued. "We're not just going to respond. We're going to show the galaxy what happens when you attack humanity's children." Within hours, the news spread across human space. Mars, the moon colonies, the stations around Jupiter, the mining operations in the asteroid belt. Everywhere, humans heard about New Haven, and everywhere, the response was the same, raged out in the shipyards of Mars. Workers began pulling double shifts. The massive construction bays that usually produced cargo vessels started building warships. On Earth, old veterans came out of retirement. Young people lined up at recruitment centers. Miller stood on the observation deck, watching Earth below. Cities twinkled in the darkness, but he knew that behind those lights, an entire species was preparing for war. Humans have fought each other for thousands of years. They had learned every form of warfare, perfected every strategy. Now, for the first time, all that knowledge would be turned outward. "Captain," Harris approached him, "Fleet Command wants you to lead one of the reconnaissance wings." Miller nodded. "How many ships are we talking about?" Harris swallowed. "Sir, they're planning to build 700,000 warships. Every human colony is contributing. They're calling it the Iron Fleet. 700,000 ships. Miller had never imagined such a number. The Vexor Empire had maybe a few thousand vessels, according to intelligence reports. They wanted to scare us, Miller said quietly. Instead, they woke up a sleeping giant. The stars twinkled peacefully above, unaware that humanity was about to bring thunder to the void. ** 6 months had passed since New Haven turned to glass. Admiral Stone stood in the command center of Forge Station Alpha, humanity's largest shipyard orbiting Mars. Through the massive viewports, he could see something that would have been impossible to imagine a year ago. Hundreds of warships in various stages of construction, their steel skeletons growing like metal forests in space. Admiral, the reports from all sectors, his aide, Commander Jack Wilson, handed him a data pad. Stone read the numbers and felt grim satisfaction. Earth shipyards, 40,000 vessels completed. Mars, 35,000. The Belt, 20,000. Even the small colony on Titan had managed to build 500 attack craft. We're ahead of schedule, Wilson noted. The workers refuse to rest. They say they can hear the ghosts of New Haven calling for justice. In the assembly bay below, Stone watched thousands of workers in spacesuits, welding armor plating onto a battleship. The vessel was one of the new Retribution-class ships, 2 kilometers long, armed with weapons that could crack asteroids. The door opened and Dr. Michael Reed, Earth's leading weapons scientist, entered with excitement in his eyes. Admiral, we've done it. The plasma cannons are ready for mass production. Show me, Stone ordered. On the holographic display, Reed brought up the weapon specifications. We reverse-engineered some Vexor technology from debris we found near the outer rim. Then we improved it. Their shields won't stop these. Stone studied the data. Humanity had always been good at taking others' inventions and making them better. It was how they had survived and thrived on Earth for millennia. How many can we produce? Stone asked. Every ship will have them, Reed replied. We've converted entire factories on Earth. Cars, appliances, electronics, everything now makes weapons. A communication alert interrupted them. It was Captain Anna Taylor from Deep Space Monitoring. Her face appeared on the screen, tense with urgency. Admiral, we've detected Vexor fleet movements. They're gathering near the Proxima border. About 3,000 ships. 3,000 ships. A massive fleet by any standard. But Stone almost smiled. They have no idea what's coming, he said. Continue monitoring. Don't let them detect our preparations. In the training centers across the solar system, millions of humans learned to fight in space. Old soldiers taught young recruits. Veterans of Earth's wars shared their knowledge. Everyone had the same look in their eyes, determination mixed with barely controlled anger. On Earth, in the city of New Tokyo, recruiting officer Sam Johnson processed his 1,000th volunteer of the day. This one was different, an elderly woman, probably 70 years old. Ma'am, you're beyond the age limit, Johnson said gently. The woman's eyes were steel. My granddaughter was on New Haven. I can work in the factories. I can help build the ships that will avenge her. Johnson stamped her application as approved. Everyone wanted to help. Everyone wanted to be part of humanity's answer. In the secret. Research facilities on the moon. Scientists worked on something even more ambitious. Dr. Helen Garcia led the team developing the jump drive modifications. If this works, she told her team, our entire fleet can appear in Vexor space simultaneously. They won't have time to react. Her assistant, Dr. Paul Kim, looked at the calculations. 700,000 ships jumping at once. The energy required is enormous. We'll drain every power station in the solar system if we have to, Garcia replied. This isn't about efficiency. It's about sending a message to the entire galaxy. Back on Forge Station Alpha, Stone received another report. The colony of New Shanghai had exceeded their production quota by 200%. Their message was simple. New Haven was our sister colony. We build for them. Wilson looked at the growing fleet statistics. Sir, at this rate, we'll have 700,000 ships in another 6 months. Stone nodded. He thought about the Vexor message, telling humanity to withdraw, to run away. They had gravely misunderstood human nature. When you hurt humans, they didn't run. They got angry. And when humans got angry, they got creative. Send a coded message to all production facilities, Stone ordered. Tell them this, every rivet they place, every wire they connect, every weapon they mount, is a promise to those 20,000 souls. We're coming. The forge of vengeance burned bright across human space. In workshops and shipyards, in factories and assembly lines, humanity united in a single purpose. The Vexor Empire had erased a colony. Now they would learn why the rest of the galaxy would whisper humanity's name in fear for generations to come. Asterisk. 1 year after New Haven, the edge of human space had become the largest military staging ground in galactic history. Admiral Stone stood on the bridge of humanity's flagship, the Nemesis, a 5-kilometer behemoth that had taken 10,000. Workers 8 months to complete. Around him, space itself seemed to be made of metal. 700,000 warships hung in the void, arranged in perfect formation. The sight was beyond comprehension, a forest of steel and weapons that stretched farther than the eye could see. All fleet commanders, report status, Stone commanded. 1. By 1, the responses came in. Fleet Group Alpha, 100,000 ships ready. Fleet Group Beta, 100,000 ships ready. The reports continued. Every ship was armed, fueled, and crewed. 3 million humans sat at battle stations, waiting for the order. Commander Wilson stood beside him, looking at the tactical display. Sir, our scouts report the Vexor Empire has noticed our buildup. They're fortifying their border systems. How many ships? Stone asked. They've gathered 8,000 vessels at their forward base, their entire navy. 8,000 against 700,000. Stone felt no satisfaction, only cold purpose. This wasn't about fair fighting. This was about ensuring no one ever attacked humanity again. In the engineering bay of the Thunder, Chief Engineer Bob Martinez ran final checks on the junk drive. His team of 50 had been working without proper rest for weeks, but no one complained. Martinez's nephew had been on New Haven, a young teacher, only 25 years old. Junk drive is green, Martinez reported to his captain. We're ready to bring hell to their doorstep. Across the fleet, similar scenes played out. On the destroyer Vengeance, Captain Rachel Cooper addressed her crew of 200. Some of you lost family on New Haven. All of you lost fellow humans. Today, we collect the debt. The crew cheered, but it wasn't a happy sound. It was the sound of predators ready to hunt Dot in the medical ship. Hope, Dr. Susan White, prepared her trauma base. Even in Vengeance, humans planned to save lives, their own wounded, and any Vexor who surrendered. Humanity would be terrible in its anger, but not without mercy for those who yielded. Admiral Stone received a priority message from Earth. President Shun appeared on the secure channel, his face grave. Admiral, our ambassadors have given the Vexor Empire one final chance to surrender and pay reparations for New Haven. They laughed at us. They said humanity is too soft to fight. Stone's expression didn't change. They'll learn otherwise, Mr. President. The Senate has voted, Sean continued. Operation Iron Storm is approved. Show them what humanity is capable of, Admiral. But remember, we're not them. We don't target civilians. Understood, sir. Military targets only. The connection ended. Stone turned to his bridge crew. All hands, this is Admiral Stone. 1 year ago, 20,000 human souls were murdered. Men, women, children, erased without warning, without mercy. The Vexor Empire thought this would make us afraid. They thought we would retreat to Earth and hide. He paused. They thought wrong. He opened a channel to the entire fleet. Today, 700,000 human warships will jump into Vexor. Space. We will destroy their military, eliminate their ability to wage war, and ensure they never threaten another human life. This is not conquest. This is justice. On the battleship Retribution, Weapons Officer Mark Davis powered up the new plasma cannons. The weapons hummed with deadly energy. His sister had been a nurse on New Haven, treating sick colonists. She had sent him a message the day before the attack, talking about how peaceful the colony was. "For you, Emma," he whispered. Admiral Stone looked at the master clock. In 10 minutes, humanity's greatest armada would jump simultaneously. The energy drain would dim lights across the solar system for a full minute. Every human on Earth, Mars, and beyond would know that at that moment, their species was delivering its answer to the galaxy. "All ships, begin jump countdown," Stone ordered. The numbers began falling. 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 1 minute. In the vast formation, 700,000 jump drives began charging. Space itself seemed to bend around the massive fleet. The energy readings were beyond anything ever recorded. 10 seconds, Wilson announced. Stone gripped his command chair. Behind him stood the ghosts of 20,000 colonists. Before him waited the Vexor Empire, about to learn why humans had survived every challenge, every war, every disaster in their history. Double quotes, 5.4.2. .2. Reality tore open 700,000 times. Asterisk the Vexor Empires. Forward base at Kepler Station had stood for 300 years. It was their pride, a massive fortress in space, protected by 8,000 warships and shields that could withstand asteroid impacts. Commander Vrax stood in the command center, reviewing reports of human fleet movements near their border. "The humans make noise but do nothing," his Lieutenant Kern said with amusement. "They've been sitting at their border for weeks." Vrax nodded. "They learned their lesson at New Haven. They know challenging the Empire means destruction." Then, the alarms began screaming. "Commander!" Jump signatures detected. The sensor operator's voice cracked with panic. "Multiple contacts." "How many?" Vrax demanded. The operator's forearms trembled as he worked his console. I cannot count them. The sensors are overloading." Space around Kepler Station exploded with light. Ships appeared, human ships, not in dozens or hundreds, but in numbers that defied comprehension. They materialized in perfect formation, surrounding the station and the Vexor fleet in a sphere of steel and death. Vrax felt his heart stop. "All 3 of them. Get me a count," he roared. 600,000. "No, 700,000 vessels," the operator whispered. "It's impossible." On the Nemesis, Admiral Stone looked at the tactical display with satisfaction. The jump had been perfect. Not a single ship lost in transit. The Vexor fleet was completely surrounded, outnumbered nearly 100 to 1. "Open a channel to the Vexor commander," Stone ordered. Vrax's reptilian face appeared on the screen, his scales pale with shock. "I am Admiral Stone of the United Earth. Fleet, you have 1 minute to surrender unconditionally. This is your only warning." Vrax's shock turned to rage. "The Empire does not surrender to primitives." "You dare." Stone cut the channel. "All ships, weapons free, disable their fleet. The station is the primary target." What followed wasn't a battle. It was an execution. 700,000 ships opened fire simultaneously. The space around Kepler Station turned into a storm of plasma, missiles, and kinetic rounds. The Vexor shields, designed to handle perhaps 100 enemy ships, collapsed in seconds. On the destroyer Justice, Captain Cooper watched her tactical officer, Lieutenant Danny Brown, coordinate their attack pattern. Focus fire on their battleship. Sector 7. A Vexor battleship, pride of their fleet, took concentrated fire from 50 human vessels. Its armor peeled away like paper in a firestorm. In 30 seconds, it was debris. The Vexor fleet tried to fight back. They managed to destroy 3 human ships before their weapons were overwhelmed. For every shot they fired, 1,000 answered. Commander Vrax watched his fleet disappear. 8,000 ships reduced to scattered metal in less than 10 minutes. Kepler Station's mighty shields failed. The fortress that had stood for centuries began to break apart under the bombardment. Escape pods detected. Someone reported on the Nemesis. "Let them go," Stone ordered. "They'll spread the word about what happened here." In 12 minutes, it was over. The Vexor forward base was gone. Their fleet was annihilated. Debris floated where an empire's strength once stood, but humanity wasn't finished. "All ships, prepare for second jump," Stone commanded. "Target, Vexor Prime, their homeworld." The fleet recharged their jump drives. On the battleship Fury, Captain John Black addressed his crew. "Remember, we hit military targets only. Orbital defense platforms, shipyards, military bases. Any ship that fires on us dies. Any that surrenders lives." The human fleet jumped again, appearing in the heart of the Vexor Empire. Their homeworld, a planet 3 times Earth's size, suddenly found itself surrounded by the largest fleet in galactic history. The Vexor Emperor, San the Mighty, stood in his palace watching the sky fill with human ships. His advisors screamed contradictory advice. His generals reported that their home fleet of 2,000 ships was requesting permission to engage. "Tell them to stand down," the Emperor said quietly. He had received the reports from Kepler Station, or rather, where Kepler Station used to be. "Send a message to the human admiral. The Empire ... surrenders." On every human ship, the crews heard the words they had traveled so far to hear. But there was no celebration. This was justice, not joy. Stone accepted the surrender, but made his terms clear. The Vexor Empire will disarm completely. You will pay reparations for New Haven, resources, technology, everything needed to build 10 colonies. And you will spread the word to every species in the galaxy. Humanity seeks peace, but if you bring war to us, we will end you. The message was clear. Humanity had announced itself to the galaxy not with words, but with thunder. Asterisk. 6 months after the thunder of Kepler Station, the galaxy had changed forever. Admiral Stone stood in the newly constructed memorial station, built where New Haven once was. The glass surface of the murdered colony had been carved with 20,000 names, every soul lost in the attack. President Chun stood beside him, along with representatives from 17 different alien species who had come to witness this moment. "They all want treaties with us now," Chun said quietly. "The Altarians, the Kogath Federation, even the ancient builders have sent ambassadors." Stone nodded. The galaxy had watched humanity mobilize 700,000 warships in a year. They had seen the Vexor Empire, which had terrorized nearby systems for centuries, brought to its knees in less than a day. The message was clear. Humanity was not to be tested. Captain Miller, who had discovered the destroyed colony, now commanded one of the peacekeeping fleets patrolling former Vexor space. He sent regular reports to Stone. "The Vexor are keeping their word, Admiral. Complete disarmament. Their emperor abdicated. The new government wants to join the Human Alliance." The Human Alliance, that was what they called it now. Not an empire, not a dominion, but an alliance of species who agreed to mutual defense and trade. In 6 months, 12 species had joined. They all had one thing in common. They had been threatened or attacked by aggressive neighbors. On Earth, the massive war machine began its transformation. The shipyards that had built destroyers now constructed colony ships and trade vessels. But the weapons remained, carefully maintained. The 700,000 warships were divided into patrol fleets, scattered across human and allied space. Dr. Reed, who had developed the plasma weapons, now worked on defensive shields for colonies. Never again was his team's motto. Every human colony would have shields that could withstand bombardment. Every world would have defense platforms. In the Senate chambers on Earth, a new doctrine was being written. Senator Mary Stone, no relation. To the Admiral, read it to the Assembly. Humanity extends its hand in friendship to all peaceful species. We will trade. We will share knowledge. We will explore together. But let this be known across all stars. Attack one human, and you attack us all. We will come for you with the fury of a species that has survived everything the universe could throw at us. The doctrine passed unanimously. Commander Wilson, now promoted to Admiral, commanded the Third Fleet patrolling the Outer Rim. He received a message from a new species, the Zalari. They had heard about humanity and wanted to establish trade relations. They were very, very polite. On Mars, the great shipyards had a new project. The Unity, a massive exploration vessel designed to travel beyond known space. It would carry humans and their allies to new galaxies, new worlds. But hidden in its design were weapons. Humanity would explore with open hands, but they would never be defenseless again. Captain Cooper, promoted after Kepler station, now trained new officers at the Academy. She taught them tactics, strategy, but most importantly, she taught them history. Remember New Haven, she told each class. Remember why we fight. Not for conquest, not for glory, but to protect those who cannot protect themselves. We are humanity's sword and shield. The Vexor, true to their surrender, had paid their reparations. 10 new colonies were being built with their resources. One of them was called New Haven II, populated by families of the original colonists who had been off-world during the attack. In a quiet ceremony on the anniversary of the attack, Admiral Stone retired. He had led humanity through its darkest hour and into its greatest triumph. His final order was simple. Stay vigilant. Stay united. Stay human. The galaxy had learned its lesson. Stories spread from system to system about the humans, the species, that had turned grief into strength, loss into unity. They spoke of the Iron Fleet, the 700,000 ships that had appeared like vengeful ghosts. Some species called humans warmongers. Others called them protectors. But all agreed on one thing. Never, ever attack their colonies. On New Haven 2, a child asked her teacher, "Why do we have such a big fleet?" The teacher, a survivor who had been visiting Earth during the attack, looked at the stars. So that no one ever turns another colony to glass. So that children like you can grow up in peace. Across human space, the fleet stood watch. 700,000 guardians, ready to thunder across the void if needed. The galaxy was at peace. But it was a peace enforced by the promise of humanity's wrath. Never again, never forgotten. Always ready. The end asterisk.